All right, hello friends, good evening. Hello. Let's see who is here. Oh my god. Let's see. Conan, hello. Hubert, hello. How's it going? Captain Mal, how's it going? Shones, hello. Juan Dagon, hello. Mr. Kupo, hello. How goes it? Secret Med, hello, howdy. Oh, who's this? The Manic Geek, hello, welcome. Thanks for the raid. Welcome, guys. You guys are doing well. Hello. What were you up to today? Dico, your board looks cool. Thank you, Kupo. Oh, we're doing some... Oh, Borderlands 4. Oh, fun. Classic. Fun. Alright, folks. So, tonight's build, I hope you all have been well. Tonight's build, we're going to be doing a 65% from Sensy called the Smoke. I believe Alex recently built one. I'm not sure who else might be building one. But we'll be building a Smoke 65% today. I linked on the build command the Geek Hack thread as well as the GB link. I believe it's currently live already. But yeah, it's a cool board. Kind of has a bunch of options and also is it's pretty interesting. It's a bit different from other boards. It kind of combines a bit of classic and a bit of not so classic things. So let's go over the parts here. So I'm just gonna open this up. I'm not sure what this is. Oh, I think this is for hardware. So it looks like a screwdriver kit. Yeah, screwdriver kit. So for those who don't have screwdrivers, you get a little set of T6 and T8 screwdrivers, which is kind of nice. Then you get a 78 block. So these are for top mounts. So it uses a top mount system, which is kind of like typical of a lot of boards. Like, you know, there's a lot of top mount boards out there. But the internals are a little bit different, I saw. So they also include a little manual, which is kind of nice, item list, assembly process, the whole, you know, like remapping for the PCB and so on and so forth. You can take a look during the build if we need to. Top mount, yes, top mount indeed. And then, ooh, look at that. Is this a solderable PCB? That's kind of nice. Okay, these bags are never easy to just open up cleanly. But we get a solderable PCB. Oh, that's a nice color on the PCB. Look at that. The traces are kind of cool here. Actually, that's just silk screen, and then the traces look pretty nice. That's a very nice looking PCB. Looks like ANSI enter only. ANSI only, so no ISO support. There is a step caps lock, split backspace, and then we have different spacebar support. So we have 625 and 7U, and then we also have 7U for a win keyless 65%. So like, you know, similar to the Bauer, where you have a 0.75U and a 0.75U blocker on both sides. So there's a win keyless version of this one as well. There's a win key and win keyless, but pretty nice. 1.6mm PCB. And then from what it looks like, we get a pogo pin connector, magnetic pogo pin, STM32 controller, reset button here next to the A and the step caps, or the caps lock key. And everything else is quite standard. You don't have LED support other than on the caps lock. So for indicators, you just get the caps lock indicator. And then let's go on to the board. So nice little the case is pretty nice and molded. So pretty sweet looking case. And then, so the board we have today is a purple unit. So they offer a bunch of colors. So on the website, so they have black, silver, red, green, blue, purple, brown, and e-white, or coating white rather. Not sure what kind of coat, but coating white, solderable and hot swap PCB, wind key and wind keyless. Looks like we have a wind keyless version today. That's neat. And then there are several components. I believe there's an internal component that's a badge, and then there is the weight. So right now we have a stainless steel weight, and then the plate looks like I was only provided here a pretty interesting option. So this is a thick PEI plate. So if you look closely, you can see that this is a 4mm plate. So a thick PEI plate. It's kind of different. And then so it kind of uses these these little blocks are actually for the top mount, and basically they have different hardnesses. You get a harder one and a softer one. This is 70A, and the other ones I think are like 90A or something like that. But basically these are a little bit more flexible, and the other ones are a lot less flexible. But yeah, so Bauer blockers, yeah, Bauer blockers. Yeah, I think people tend to call them that a lot, right? And then so they offer different batches, different weight options. They have an alu plate and a PEI plate. The PEI plate is, I think it's just a thicker one here being offered, and then extras they offer pretty much the same stuff like plates and badges and PCBs. Pricing wise is not terrible. It's like 400 US starting, I believe, for the base options with an alu plate. What I'm noticing here is that it actually has a base that's made out of PEI, so I'm gonna open this up and show you guys what it looks like. But so this is what the board looks like from the bottom. It's very aggressive sort of cuts here into the board, so the side profile kind of gets this like flowy look. So this part here really like highlights this side, and then it kind of gets dark because of the shadow there. And so you kind of get this very flowy look. So they're trying to go for this like smoke looking aesthetic, and then at the same time you get a weight that sort of like really sticks out diagonally like to the back. So it's kind of a little bit different from some other boards, and then you kind of get a very sharp like vertical curve over here, like this fillet over here, and then you just kind of get this like sharp vertical turn over here, and so down to the base of the board. And then it goes slightly inward as well. We have some regular, I think these are just standard adhesive bump-ons, which are pre-installed on the board in this particular case. And yes, so as Kupo was saying, the USB port is indeed off-center. I forget what the purpose of that was, but I think it's part of the aesthetic. So let's see, so I'm going to the interest check page, and so interest check page here, it says smoke, so it starts 31st and November 30. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Says this is Sensy, we're a new studio from China. In 2024, our core members Xingji and Qian collaborate with Vertex to release the debut work Seal. So they did the Seal, the full size board, and then now they're working independently to bring new designs. And so they have the construction over here, draws inspiration from Deep Purple, Smoke on the Water. And so they're kind of going for something that breaks traditional symmetry. So I'm assuming that's partly why they have a USB port that's not centered, and also going for these kind of like more aggressive curves and so on. So yeah, they're actually going for, like, you know, you can even see here, even on the engravings, it's centered. Yeah, it's centered. So it's centered towards the main alpha cluster, as opposed to the center, you know, of the board, of the length of the board. So yeah, 9-degree typing angle, you know, 18.5 to 22.5 height. And then, and so they explain here that they've shifted the axis from the exact lengthwise center of the board to sort of a little bit to the left. So that's kind of why also you get this USB port that's not exactly in the middle. Pretty cool. Kind of, you know, pretty interesting, to be fair. Oh, I see. They also explain that they go through with the G3 curvature stuff. And yeah, manufactured by DDS, and so on. All the materials and details over here. But yeah, pretty neat. They also say that 3 team members are vintage keyboard enthusiasts with over 3 tons in collection, yet we see no need for ISO in 65% layouts. The middle frames, reinforcing ribs, and filling design with a complete logic would be compromised by ISO support. So they decided to skip ISO support on this design, which is kind of interesting. I do know that there are ISO users in China, but they kind of decided to just omit it altogether. So yeah, maybe they're just trying to say, like, you know, we like ISO on TKLs and full size, but not on smaller layouts. Perhaps that's the take here. All right, let's go ahead and take out the plate and kind of take a look at the inside of the board here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just use the provided screwdrivers. So it's kind of similar to some of the other screwless boards that we have done in the past. So like, you guys have seen the Cheese 65 in my most recent stream that also had these screws that go through the plate and the PCB to you know, put it together. So this basically does the same thing. I like Diego in my keyboard. It reminded me of the car Homer designed in The Simpsons. Oh wow, I actually don't remember that. I know the reference, I just don't remember this particular episode. I did watch a lot of Simpsons growing up too, though, but I just don't remember it. Okay, so here's the base. So I'm assuming this is what they're talking about, the badge, when they're talking about the interior. So it's kind of on the inside, so you don't really see it, this badge, and then you have the exterior weight that sort of juts out there. So it's part of the base here. So it's held by these 6 screws, and then that is the external weight. The badge is the part that also will show here in the back. So this is the one that if you go to the product page, you will see that they also have Damascus titanium and Damascus copper options. Looks like I got the PVD stainless steel, so just the sort of polished stainless steel look for this, you know, water-like figure in the bottom weight. So maybe some of the other reviewers or some of the other units out there have the Damascus type. So unfortunately, I can't really show you what that looks like. But, you know, pogo pin connector, nice and sturdy. Love Simpsons seasons 2 through 7. Okay, so let's go ahead and so these screws actually come out straight all the way through. So I'm just gonna take them out of the board. So I'm gonna take that out, and then interesting. So this board is Look at this. It uses a. This is a PEI mid piece. It's It does not just have the plate and then the bottom piece and the bottom, you know, weight. It actually has. So the bottom weight is external, the stainless steel part. But even in the aluminum base, after that, you get this sort of aligning piece that is PEI. And this is actually a mid piece. Oh, that's kind of intriguing. Let's take it apart. That's kind of different. Let's see. Big fan of Kiwi? Me too, me too. Elquan, thank you so much for the 11 months. Diego, you're forced to lose all your artisans but one. Which one are you keeping? Oh, that's so tough. I feel like it would probably have to be like one of the ones that were like gifted to me. There's a few that I can think of. So one of my favorite sculpts is the Cosmonaut by Booper by Omniclectic. There's a few of the older version, like of the V1 that has like this chonky sort of look, but that looks very nice and organic, very cool. That I really like. There's a couple of colorways there that I really like. That would probably be the one artisan that I would probably keep. Other artisans, like they're like amongst older, I guess, like Key Collective / Gaff work. There's a few ones that I really like. Like one of the ones that I am very partial to is the Pun in the Oven Trash Panda that I have. That one's like a very special one, and it has like a very natural kind of color scheme that I really like. What else? There's a Clack Factory cap that I have that has a story behind it. That would probably keep. That's the blue Trabe. Not sure. Can we do emo music for an emo night stream, Diego, one day? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, why not? Fall Out Boy, My Chemical Romance, Paramore. I mean, I'm all for it. I actually listen to those like more frequently than you think. Just in general, like just in my normal listening, I listen to them more often than you might think. Yeah, because I had my era too, you know. I had my punk and alternative and emo rock era, you know. Okay, so that's the mid piece. So the mid piece just kind of comes off and then just, you know, it's basically self-aligned to the bottom. Pretty cool. And then we have the PEI plate here in top mount. So let's undo these. So what's kind of nice right now is so far all I am using is the exact same T8, the Torx 8 size screwdriver for everything, for the case, for the plate. That's a nice touch. Always just using one screwdriver for anything. Everything is always like a nice thing, I think. Just like a quality of life kind of thing. At least in my opinion. Looks like these screws are also magnetic, which is pretty sweet. Did Kupo say see you later, boy? Would Kiwi feature an emo copete? He doesn't have fur long enough for that, but if he actually did a copete, I would be so pleased. That would be pretty cool. And then, so let me actually undo one of these guys here. So we have one of these sort of like top mount blocks, what they call, but basically it's kind of like sandwich mounting, like you know, like like burger mounting or whatever, where you basically put a little piece of softer material between the top case and the plate, and basically it dampens a little bit of that top mount action going on for the plate. And so this is the harder, the 90A I think version of that, and then you get the softer ones right here, so you can kind of see like these ones just kind of bend right through and these ones don't. So this is 90, this is 70. Yeah. So if you're into the more like rigid mounting, then by all means go with the 90. If you're into the, you know, less rigid ones, go with the 70. You can always mix and match, which is nice. So for today's stream, I actually have some. I figured it's been a while since I've done any like long pole switches, so I did bring some HMX switches. But I did see that Alex built with. I actually don't remember. What was it? What did he build with? He built with some GAT yellows, and then I saw some tests on the internet with Type Plus linears, some linears I don't know what they are, and some MX blacks as well. So if you're looking for an MX black typing test, like I think there's a guy who did that from China, I think, or from Asia. I'm not sure, somewhere in Asia, I guess. And then so I do have these HMX switches over here. I have these HMX macchiatos, but I also have the option to do, maybe like I can suggest doing like MX purples, like MX clears, like, you know, a tactile option if that's something that you guys would prefer to see. So I can leave it up to a vote, but if you would rather hear a long pole linear today, that's also fine. I was gonna take the plate out, so. So yeah, if you guys have a preference, Cherry good or HMX? Never linear? Do you cop Gion raw zeros from his sale? I did not cop anything from his sale. I have not made keyboard related purchases in a while. Outside of artisans, I feel. And that's like only occasionally too. That's not true. I have not paid for anything. At least, you know, I haven't made any purchases yet. A lamp. All right. I mean, it's the occasional purchase every so often. Oh, I did buy some MX Browns. I needed to buy MX Browns because I was running out of MX Browns for builds. I recently had to run through a bunch of MX Browns for some commissions and stuff. And so I don't have MX Browns, and so I had to buy some MX Browns. So I did buy MX Browns technically from Gion. Someone else bought them. Someone else bought like 5 bags of like 450 switches, and I just bought 1 bag of 450, which was like a lot cheaper than, you know, ever. I think that's the cheapest I've ever bought MX Browns for. But yeah. I can do a quick poll. Switch on PAI 4mm plate. Okay, HMX versus Cherry MX pour pole. So tactile versus linear, basically. I've been summoned with MX Browns? Wait, how did I summon you? Do American summons work for Germans? I thought we had lost the respect of the world. Cherry MX winning the poll? No way. You said MX Browns 3 times in the mirror or something? Damn. Perchance. Look at this thick plate though. Look at this. Thick plate. Holy thickness. I'm down with the thickness. Oh, Pardon? Is it sandwich mount? No, it's top mount actually. It's top mount. It just mounts to the top piece. Diego, for MX2A blacks and browns, do I need to film? I say yes, absolutely. You should always film any Cherry MX switches. This is how it mounts. It's top mount, 5 points, 3 points at the top, 2 at the bottom. PEI mid piece as well. Yes, look at this. This is a PEI mid piece. It seems to be about maybe like 2 millimeters thick in the middle portion. It's not very thick in the middle, and then the thicker parts maybe are like 4 mil. Yeah, maybe are like 3-4 mil. And obviously this length is a lot taller. But yeah. Which films do you recommend? I was thinking of using Swaki's V2. Swaki's V2 film is very good, very nice. I would say Swaki's V2 films are my favorite films right now to use. Besides the standard that I've always used, which is TX.15mm ones. Swaki's films are spectacular, great. They've worked very nicely for a variety of switches, and I've been enjoying them a lot. I have some Meteor Orange left over I should use before buying more browns. Meteor Orange so good. Those are good switches. The Meteor Orange ones. I've tried a few boards with those. At meetups actually. I think that's where Diego, do you want me to cope you some MX2A and some MX1A MX blacks? I mean I always like having MX black switches, but yeah. What? Are you mocking me? I hear someone mocking me in the background. Who is this? What are you mocking me about? About saying MX black? Yes. She's mocking me that I said MX like 5 times in a row. Okay. Let me get those MX purples. They're actually, I'm just gonna take them out from the number 3 that I built a while back. So give me a sec. Is this Bauer layout? Yeah. 0.75U blockers. Okay. So actually, if you want to see the purples compared, they are vastly different in color. This one is more like a lavender lilac-y color. This was the number 3 that we built a while back. And then, so this one has the MX purples that I could use. And then, you know, I'll just take this mid-piece part, but this is the purple, kind of like an eggplanty purple on the smoke. Very nice, deep, dark purple. Much more, very saturated and very deep color here. Pretty nice. Definitely has a lot of a much stronger, maybe like magenta reddish hue to this one over here compared to this lilac one, which has a much more like kind of like blue into it. But yeah, I'll probably take out the switches from here if you guys want to see them. Which purple is thockier? They're both pretty thocky, I think. All right. So I'm gonna just edit the build command. So I'll do. You guys wanted to see this with Cherry MX purple switches. What did I loop those with? I have notes here somewhere. Cherry MX purple 205G0, and with these guys had 62-gram springs and Swaki's films, and yeah, that's right. Okay, cool. So I'll get that later. All right, so let's go ahead and get those stabs ready. Oh, actually, I might be able to skip some stab contents today because I do have some stabs from a previous build that I just have laying around and they're already lubed. So I'll skip stab content a little bit today because it'll give me some time to disassemble that one too, so it's fine. So we'll just transfer these stabs over. Have you seen the OG40? Is that the really cute looking F1 style 40%? Is that the one? I think that's the one, or no, is that the one with the cool looking like with the little like not afro but like a numro cluster or whatever. Don't know if it's that one. Maybe it's a different one. Oh, it's this one. This one came up on was this on Z Frontier maybe? Is this on Z Frontier? Am I wrong? Ooh, NCR inspired. That's really cool actually. You guys seen this one? OG40 by Cosmos Design. Inspired by G40, G80, sorry, G40. Has the little indicators. They show it with some DCS rendered. That's very very cute. 10U spacebar support. Man, wow. Okay. Do they? Oh, what? They don't support split spacebars? I feel like a lot of people are gonna want some splits on there, but okay. I mean, that's definitely G80 inspired. I feel like they would do better supporting some split spacebars though for the actual 40s users. But maybe someone can, you know, make a PCB for it. That's cool. That's cool. It does support split? Oh, okay, it does. Okay. Yeah, I feel like anyone who uses an actual 40 would be like, this is useless without an actual split. Can the Chinese archmages design an NCR 60 or NCR 100 or something? True, there has been the NCR 80, but I think that was the plastic one. And then I remember there was a OG Cherry inspired 60% from, who was it? Was it Alf Studio back in the day? Was it them? It was someone like that, right? I remember someone made that. Ooh, I don't remember which bottom row part is which actually. Is this the right one? I think that's the right one. I'll have to test that, but okay. Okay, so I'm gonna move this here for a sec. And then I'm going to maybe just undo the main cluster here. It looks wrong without a giant mid-seam. Oh, that's a good point. I don't think I saw that. Yeah, you're right. Where is the giant mid-seam? Oh yeah, the side being seamless is sort of odd for a G80 inspired design. I agree actually. I do feel like a G80 inspired design is nicer, similar to the way the OGR does it, to have an exaggerated seam on this side, like an intentional seam on the side, you know? It just looks more cherry like. Do you clean the pre-lube on the purples before lubing 2.5 on them? I don't remember. I'm gonna say no. I think I know myself pretty well, and the answer to this question is almost certainly no. But it also means I mean, generally when I'm working with MX2As, I am fairly careful about not letting that lube spread, like for example, into the middle of the thingy, of the little like center stem hole, whatever. Wait, did these MX purples not come with that much lube? Well, I don't see too much under there, so it's not that bad. There is some, but it's not that bad. I mean, I don't think I cleaned this though. I think I just kind of spread it. I think I just like spread it around with a brush. But I know I'm lazy and I would have not actually cleaned it like one by one. I'm meticulous, but I know that these MX2As usually only come with lube on like the around the periphery of that like center stem hole, and so normally I'll just like spread that like around, kind of like just to anywhere where it's not detrimental to the actual action of the switch. Basically, not to put it on the sliders. If you're concerned about the split spacebar support, oh, soldered PCB layout update. Holy mother of God, that's a lot of options. Okay, all right, good for them. Oh shit, Marcia. Hello, Apiary Keyboards. Hello, my friends. Welcome. Another keyboard person rating tonight. That's kind of rare for a Tuesday. Hello. How are you? Thanks for the raid and welcome, guys. Pog52. Holy moly. Poggers. Hi, friends. I just got one of those desktop outlets so I can plug my soldering iron into a desk. Ooh, nice. I have so many outlets under my desk. Under my desk is disastrously ugly, but we don't talk about it. It's still better than Sunny's lamp. But yeah, I do need to cable manage. Not true. I cleaned up Sunny's. Sunny's under desk is nice now. I know it is nice now. How's the how's the over desk though? Not like mine is particularly good. How's on the desk? Does the monitor still sit on the box? Does he have a desktop a monitor arm now? The overdesk is clean. Getting a KVM saved lives. Oh gosh. Wait, what did he need a KVM for? Does he switch between stuff a lot? A lot of people use KVMs, but I like personally don't really find a need for one. He bought 2 Ergotron arms. I linked him. Work laptop and PC. I guess yeah. If he's work from home, I guess that's normal. Well, that's good. I'm glad you did that for him. It's kind of huge. Let's see. So the easy way to know whether you're done taking enough switches is to just line them up on the plate over here. Actually, I think these are TX films. Oops. Not Swaki's films. I think these are TX films. I see the purple on them. You can put the desk mat actually on the desk now? Oh, wait. You couldn't before? That's kind of crazy. That's crazy. That's interesting. No, it hung off a little? Oh, okay. I see. 3 more switches, I think. Yeah. We don't have a corner blocker, so 3 more. Alright, that should be enough switches. Okay. I'm gonna take this away. Give me a sec. All right, I'm back. Those bowl blanks look nice. Oh yeah, they're great. Been enjoying them. They're very clean look. Nice and like white and gray aesthetics are, you know, similar to the OG inspiration of this, which is the HKB blanks. Okay, so got enough switches. Done my stabs here. Let's put it together. Okay, so thick plate. Gotta make sure they clip in. So, you know, just always double check that your switches actually clip onto the plate. Lining this up is pretty easy though because the plate's so thick. So just, you know, pop them in a few positions. And then we'll test our stabs and see where it goes here. Okay, so spacebar, when keyless spacebar is the middle one. That sounds right. And then they have designations for these, which is nice. But now the question is, did I do this right? Huh. Did I did not put it in the right position. Okay, good to know. So this stab actually goes one to the left. Right here. Okay. So there. Now that should fit. Okay. All right, now let's pop him in. What you side-eyeing, Mr. Kupo? Today is election day in the States. I hope things go well. Just wanted to see a cat. Oh, an anonymous gifter gifted a tier 1 sub to Mr. Koopa. Oh, thank you, Lamp, says Koopo. His guess is probably, oh, not right. Oh, really? Thank you, Anon. Ooh. You have fans, Mr. Koopo. Anonymous fans. Secret admirer. Woo. Oh yeah, do you guys see that Singa is dropping a new thing soon? There was a teaser on the gram. JK was me invite me to Koopa Court. It's gonna be another Kohaku? Maybe. Mayhaps. Perchance. Gundam Kohaku? Bre? Hey, I would still rather see IP collabs and then, you know, we'll hopefully get our minds blown when Stinga comes out. Yeah, I don't know. Bro, I want a Gundam Singa 75. Oh, OG Singa? You actually want a compact layout 75? Is that what you want? That's a rare ask. People don't ask about that stuff these days. No one wants a compressed 75 these days, do they? Hmm? Do people actually want a compact 75 these days? That's my question. I'm not sure. I just think the Gundam IP works on better on the side profile. Oh, that's actually fair. Oh, this spacebar feels. Oh, the spacebar is not fully on. Okay, so that was weird. Okay. Test the other ones. Actually, you know, I might go get a 65-gram springs. On MX Clears, I do prefer to have a slightly heavier spacebar. Just about a preference. On this, yeah, I might do that. I don't think I switched it before, but this time I kind of want to. Imagine Korn with RX-0 Unicorn. Let it be the Wing Gundam. Oh, I would. What about like Death Scythe? Okay, I'm not that knowledgeable about Gundam, to be honest. Like, I only watched little bits and pieces of OG Mobile Suit Gundam, and then my first exposure to Gundam technically was Gundam Wing. And then I watched Seed. And like, what is that? Seed Destiny or whatever. That's edgy. That's fair. It is edgy, but it's fun edgy. Perfect for Diego for his emo stream. Yeah, exactly. Grandpa RX-78 for sure. Yeah, that would be the you know, the go-to classic, right? They'd be clapping cheeks. Hello. Always nice to watch you stream. Oh, thank you. That's so nice of you. Okay, before I actually forget, let me go get that 65-gram spring. Imagine R1 Korn with ARW weight. I'd buzz, basically Sinanju, but actually single. Oh. Interesting. Some interesting takes in the chat. I don't know what to expect though, to be honest with y'all. I don't know what to expect. New Gundam Sazabi boards with raking insane profits. I don't know anything enough about this to know what would be a good idea and what would not be. I mean, just make it cool and I'll be happy, you know? Lee home for the win. Yeah, I'm on the Chinese playlist today. Okay, so sometimes what I like doing on these switches is I like marking the spacebar one because I don't want to basically forget that it had a 65-gram spring or something. So I like put it like a dot on the housing. stem right here. Okay, good enough. So I remember that it has this heavier spring. And then I should probably write it down somewhere that I did that. Okay. I think I prefer it like this. Oh, what the? Spacebar feels weird. Is this not mounted properly? There it is. Okay. Okay, snappier. But with these 4mm plates, you need to really make sure that if you're soldering these, you need to really make sure that the plate and the switches is properly on the PCB. Otherwise, it's very easy to get a gap in between, and that means you'll get slight unevenness on the upstroke. Usually ends up being kind of unpleasant. Hard to notice until you actually do it, but we'll start soldering these. All right. Let me write this down. 65. MX purples, MX purples. Where's MX purples? Yeah, here. 62 gram. TX purple. Oh yeah, okay. So 65 gram on. Okay. And I'm installing this right now on the smoke. Solder. Okay. I can't justify getting more than 165%, but other layouts I can stomach more. I mean, I think that's fine. I mean, you that just means you just like certain layouts more than others. Like, I personally prefer like 60% and TKLs, but I don't love I don't love other layouts nearly as much, right? Like, everyone has their own preference with that. That's normal. Okay. But now to the keyboard games for a bit. What are some of your favorite switches? The last one I really liked was the B-Sun Raw switches. I mean, I gotta say, I'm still really a big fan of my Cherries and Gatorons. So, in fact, I feel like the more switches keep coming out, the more I gravitate to them just because I like them already. But like, you know, like Gat Milk Yellows won't ever betray me, you know? Gat X won't betray me. Cherry Mix Black and Brown won't betray me. They're always a good, nice experience for me. That said, you know, every so often, there are like new switches that come out that are kind of like, you know, they're pretty nice. There are things that, other than Cherry, yeah, they're like surprisingly are. Like some of those like Key Geek switches, and there were like those like for tactiles, there were like those like Gateron Type R switches that were pretty cool. Like the Type R's, like basically they cut out the pre-travel on the linear part of the tactile stem, and essentially it's a full tactility bump. Essentially you like just get pure bump, and then it completely collapses on the way down, but has a very short travel. But Type R's are like pretty nice. I've tried those before. Somebody else's built, but I enjoyed them. That said, like it still kind of feels like a heavy tactile for me, so I don't like go for them like for my own builds. But trying new switches every so often is super refreshing. It doesn't necessarily mean I use them on a daily basis, but they're pretty nice to try out. That's kind of the gist of it, though. I do try new switches every so often, but I don't think for my own builds I haven't really strayed too far away from it, from what I like already. All right, let me get my fan here. and actually have to solder today. Damn, you're right. Of all the switches I own, MX Blacks aren't one of them. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time for you to actually try one. But as always, for Cherry MX, so Cherry MX requires like the most attention, so to speak. And it's not so much that it's a lot more attention or anything. It's more so that you have to spring swap and you have to film the switches. Like, that's like a necessity, in my opinion. Because Cherry stock springs are very inconsistent in weighting. The range of weighting goes very far down and very far up. It's not a narrow enough range for you to enjoy typing on them consistently, in my opinion. Some people say like they go with like stock MX Browns, but I personally always spring swap, always for Cherry MX, always spring swap. And films, especially like once you open the switch, especially if you're using like those switch openers, it stretches them even more, I think. Definitely film. TX film, Swacky's film, probably good enough. You can do like Duroc or like, you know, Deskey's film, whatever you want. Those are fine too. But yeah, any kind of like film, like, you know, a filler between the housings is always, you know, I would say recommended for Cherry MX. Lubing, I tend to go on the light side, so I just do like a light coat of 3204 or 205. Either is fine. Actually, 205 works very perfectly well. So just a light coat on the stem is more than enough. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, that's about it. There really isn't any rocket science around that, but it's more attention because compared to these days, like these days you can buy a switch off the shelf and they'll just work really well as is. So all right, I'm gonna go ahead and turn on this fan, which is gonna be a little loud. MX2A is pretty decent stock. Yes, I do agree. I don't disagree. They're actually really nice stock now, like in terms of quality of how smooth it is and how little crunch it relatively has compared to the, like, you know, all the previous Cherry MX versions. That's true. The condition of MX2A is really good. That's like undeniably true. But I still prefer myself for my own switches to spring swap, film, and lube. Just because, I mean, there's habit, but it's just like, it still kind of bothers me at the end of the day. So for me, I would much rather still do the full thing. Hello, Mr. Nick. Good evening. But yeah, no, MX2A is pretty decent stock. That is true. You can go stock, that's fine. MX Blacks, personally, a little too heavy for me. They're like 78 gram bottom out-ish on stock springs. So for me, I would swap just because they're too heavy anyway. Also, typing on heavy switches versus lighter switches is just it completely changes the perception of a switch. I will like emphasize that because it's just true. Like typing on heavy MX Blacks versus lighter ones is completely different experience. For example, yeah, prior versions were borderline unusable stock. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I'm more of the camp that they're still kind of unusable stock, but yeah, MX2A definitely better than ever before. Hola Dieguito, hello Ninewalker, how are you, my friend? We're doing another 65 today. Is that disappointing? I will be doing a 60 next time though, which is tomorrow actually. Tomorrow I'm gonna be building Bub and Hallie's Beetle 60, which is currently on Novel Keys. Kind of cool looking, simple board. It's like, if I recall correctly, it's like, is it gasket mount? 60% with a alu half, I think. It has a PC top, dyed PC top. But yeah, cute little board. I should buy more MX blacks and browns, but even though I don't need them, depends on if you already have some enough already. I feel like, I mean, I personally, back in the day, there were people who would stock up on their switches because you couldn't really find reliable ones for a while. But now, I feel like even if you buy, you know, like MX2A, or even like when Hyperglide was still the thing out, switches at different points in time, they're still pretty good reliability wise. So I personally nowadays I tend to be, you know, I don't like really stock up on them as much. I try to buy it and anticipating how much I'm going to use them. What are the Kiwi arrow caps? They came with part of the blank set. Yeah. They were added because the blanks did pretty well on the pre-order, on the group buy. Jokes on you, Diego. I got like 300 MX blacks, all lubed and filmed. Wait, all lubed and filmed? I'm kind of jealous. That's so nice. Do you just like do them on your free time? Like whenever you have time, it's like you just grab like 20 of them and just do it. So it's like, you know, it only takes like 15 days to get that many or whatever. All lubed and filmed is crazy. That's so nice. It's so convenient to just have them ready to go. I'm often like taking them out from motherboards or like, yeah, having to do new batches, which is, I mean, as much as like people are like, oh, like you lube all your switches, you must really be okay doing it and whatnot. I don't love it. Like no one, I can't really. I still think that people who say, oh, I really enjoy doing switches, it's kind of cope. You don't love doing that. You just happen to have a good distraction to go with it. Like you know, when you're like multitasking and stuff. I went full Spartan mode, lubed in 1 day. Damn, son. 300 switches in 1 day is a good number, dude. I mean, I've done about as many too before in one sitting, but like, or like in a day rather. Still remarkable. I think the color caps are only part of the GB orders. Oh man. Oh really? Oh. I see. I didn't know that. Well, I guess. Huh? Really? They didn't add it for every order, like or like all the kits were not changed to that. Essentially, they're just add-ons. Maybe they only added a specific number that covered the GB orders, because to kind of make up for the extra cost, or rather, revenue. My body would break. Yeah, I think it's lubing, especially like modding switches, especially sucks for like bigger people, in the sense that like if you have bigger hands, or if you're like hunching over your desk or wherever your like your work surface is a lot, and then you're doing that, like that shit like actually fucks you up. No, like I feel like, I mean, I'm not that tall. I'm pretty average, right? Like I'm on the short side, not gonna lie. And like I feel like I'm okay-ish, right? Like I still feel some strain doing all this like meticulous work, but like I feel like for people who are just taller, bigger in general, doing like stuff like this, like with their hands, like lubing switches and stuff, holy shit, it must be so straining. I was sore for 2 days neck-wise. Holy moly. Yeah, no. Just in general, it ain't easy, man. This is why. So, you know, I sometimes get commission requests, and I'm like, and they ask me like, oh, do you also like lube switches and stuff? And I'm like, yeah, I do actually. I'll do it at a price, and you know, admittedly, my prices they're not cheap. Okay, I charge about $1.25 per switch, including this is spring swap, film, lube. Okay, so you opening, spring swap, film, lube, and you know, closing the switch. About that much. And I only do it as part of like builds, like, you know, builds where people are like, okay, I'm gonna order all the parts, and you do the modding, and then you build the board with those switches. Like, I don't take individual switch orders. Like, I don't do like, oh, I'm gonna lube 90 switches and then send them back to you. You know, like, you can do the build. Usually it's just like bundled up. But I feel like I feel like for the time and effort that it is, I cannot justify doing it for any less. Cannot. Oh, Diego Zoran won. Ooh, yay! That's great. I've seen Frank twice. It'll be 3 times in March. Oh, sweet. Thought it became better after buying a standing desk? Oh, I see. Narrator said it was not. It was not better. I wanted to go to Korea in 2026, but then I got invited to 4 weddings. Duh. Tell your friends to just have their weddings in Korea. Duh. That's how you go. Just kidding. And one of them is in Greece. Ooh, that sounds kind of cool. Greece sounds kind of lovely. Depends on the time of year, but I feel like a wedding in the Mediterranean region is like pretty good, right? I'm going to a wedding in Korea. That's why I'm going. Real. All right, folks. MX purples. Okay. Diego needs to have a wedding in Korea too. You know how difficult to have a wedding in Korea is? Yo. Okay, so I have a cousin who's having their wedding in Korea. They booked their venue, like they had the date for this wedding like 1.5 years in advance, bro. I was like, oh my God. I mean, just generally speaking, it takes a long time. I know that's right, but like, yeah, it's a lot, and it's even harder if you're like coming from abroad, right? All right, I'm kind of. Do I just go with the 90A little pieces? I think so. I think these tactiles will slap on this. Actually, you know what? No. You know what? Let's. I kind of feel like using the softer version of these little tabs today. The 70A ones, because we have a thick plate. I feel like the thick plate kind of offsets the soft, like me wanting a softer typing on these. So maybe I'm gonna use the softer tabs on this. Invite everybody. Invite everybody so they can come with gifts, kind of thing. Or is that what you mean? Just ask Gion to have it at his factory. Oh my God. Yes. It's like wedding in Gion's factory, and they'll be like, hey, welcome guys to the wedding, and also here, thanks to Gion, you can see his most recent defense industry work. If your favorite military aircraft part here on the left, and your favorite missile part here on the right, and then also a few keyboard things on the center here. So you can grab a few Gion trimmers and fancy smancy tweezers, sponsored by Drua.moe. What? Sponsored by Gion Works, I mean. How about having it during the SKM Expo? Oh my god. That's insane. Ah yes, here we interrupt to today's meetup to let you all know of the special union between these two keyboard enthusiast peoples. Yes, of course. Free venue, bro. Free venue. Why bother inviting people and sending invitations and actually booking a venue and doing all these things when you can just attend a public event and just do it there? And it's basically free invitations. People will figure out their food and lodging. And, you know, you don't have to pay the venue. You just pay the ticket. You see this leftover aloe? This could be an F1. It would be a special part of SMKX. Oh my god. I was gonna build a Ruby hacker right now for funsies, but my friend got a solder PCB. No building for funsies. Wait. Why can't you build a solder PCB for funsies? Do you not have solder stuff anymore? You ask people who won the SNKX raffles for wedding gifts? Oh yes, I go to people and be like, hi, so you actually won my favorite artisan from the giveaway pile, and so you are now obligated to give that to me now, and if you don't, you must exit the venue right now. Oh, I do. I'm just lazy. I want to have a non-committally throw in switches. Oh, that's fair. Wedding favors are the miscellaneous keycaps. Right. Hi, Kim. The wedding gifts are the raffle items. This is insane. Whoa, I like Rust too. I like a Rust too. Holy moly! Hello, Mister. It's been. Have you ever stopped by my stream in like the last like 3 trillion years? Hello. It's a rare occasion to see you around. Can't wait for the meetup. Yeah, when's the meetup? Good morning. It's been a while. Sorry about that. No, you don't have to be sorry. You don't have to be sorry. Why would you ever have to be sorry about that? Never be sorry about that. Never feel obligated to stop by. I'm just glad that you're here. All right, top mount. Let's meet up in New York City with that Toki guy. Are you sure about that? You want to do that? You really want to meet up with that Toki guy? You might regret it, dude. Diego, you should come. I think I'm gonna bring customs to this meetup. We'll see. Wait, what's this? Tufts Mechanical Keyboard Club meetup interest check. Saturday, December 6th. Oh, our member Save Dork. What? He's at Tufts? Holding a meetup at Tufts. Wanted to get one done for Tufts before I graduate in December. Oh shit. Well, that's cool. As for that Toki guy, yeah, I met him a few times. Let's do it. Oh boy. I know Safe Dork. We had dinner the other day. Oh really? He's an OG. You guys know that, right? I mean, well, I'm sure you New England people know it. But yeah, he's OG. I haven't met him, but I know he's a nerd, big time. Way smarter than I am, that's for sure. Way smarter than I am. I'm very dumb compared to these people. Way smarter than most? Oh, for sure, for sure, for sure. No doubt. Alright, so now we put this little PEI mid-piece thingy. Pretty interesting, not gonna lie. What's nice is I don't have to put these screws in between beforehand. I can just go ahead and do this. Deft Black. Might have to dig it out from another board. It's probably mounted right now. Okay, that's the mid piece. Now for the bottom piece, almost done. So the nice part about this is that it's just self-aligning, which is pretty sweet, thanks to the magnet and the scale alignment parts. And then the screws can just go straight on, which is kind of sweet. Tokyo Nights would be good on this keyboard. I don't have Tokyo Nights. You know this. Well, I thought you know this, but maybe you don't. But I don't have Tokyo Nights. I was never really interested in that set, actually. Maybe later I got more interested, but I was kind of like whatever about it when I first came out. Do you have the boob set? Deep Space? I do. I do have Deep Space, yeah. This color reminds me of the mirror. Oh, really? But the mirror never came in purple, I think. Technically. Actually. Someone brought a Moon TKL to a meetup I hosted. Such a funny keyboard. I hate the USB placement. Wait, what do you hate about it? It's literally the equivalent of a daughter board. Or unless it was a different one? It's just kind of like down there though, yeah. It points upwards on the V2. Oh, V2. Oh, the board I got scammed for? Oh, great. Well, I wouldn't know. How would I know? I never got the V2. I got scammed on that one. I don't know anything about the V2. Imagine being scammed. I know, right? I've been scammed a few times now. I've been scammed a number of times now. So I'm no stranger to it, by the way. Okay, cool. I think the board's working. What else have you gotten scammed? I managed to get a refund for X60 V2, or rather a chargeback. So that was thankfully. I got scammed from Project Keyboard stuff, from Space Cable stuff, Mex and Co stuff. Yeah. Scanned by Jackson's on that. Don't buy from people with X in their names. X. Press X for doubt. I got my Rukia. Damn. Bro is too trusting? Oh, perhaps. Perhaps too nice. What are we putting on this then? Huh? What do you guys want to see on this? This board's kind of screaming like VOC or something, right? Violet on cream is kind of nice on this. Otherwise, we can put there's other purple scents that are good though. I have First Love would work. I also have like Taco for purple stuff. I also have let me see here. Hold on, give me a sec. Why is my Notion gets really like stuttery sometimes. Deep Space, yeah. Deep Space. Okay, I mean we can do a quick poll like this. There's a few mentioned that probably sound pretty good. A serious genie would go so hard on this? Yeah, you know a guy? You know a guy with one? Keycaps. All right. Deep Space. I saw that. Violet on cream. First Love. Taco. What else did people say? Wob. Oh, NTD. We can do purple sets for this one. Purple. Okay, too late. Already got a fifth. Just choose one, okay? Choose. Spellbook? Oh, Spellbook would kind of be lit, actually. That's a good choice, too. Spellbook would be a nice choice as well. NK Spellbook. Got scammed by Keyboard Sleeve Maker. Exit scam for like 70 and lost 50 to J-Chan as well. Okay, 70 and 50 bucks is really not that bad. Y'all didn't get scammed for hundreds. There's some people out there who lost like so much, bro. Oh, you actually did go live? What are you talking about? I got scammed by Zana 380. Oh, damn. That's a big one. That was a pricey one too, right? What about all the people who got scammed by QMK? Is that the VNMK guy? Or VKC, I guess. Damn, that's rough. Yeah, there's a lot of people out there who guy who walked off with like 6 figures of other people's money. Holy shit. That's terrible. That's just so awful. What the hell? Oh, that's so bad. That's just so bad. Looks like VOC is about to win over here. Ooh, it's a tie. It's a tie between Deep Space and VOC. What do we do, guys? Do I flip a coin? Do I have a coin around here? I don't have a coin around. I can do a flip a coin. All right. Heads is Deep Space and tails is VOC. Okay. All right, Tufts Mechanical Keyboards meetup, whatever. So let's see. Hold on. Let me just get coin toss open, and we can just do this. All right. So I'm gonna do it on the browser here. So flip again. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. All right. It's tails. So VOC, I think. I think that's VOC. So tails with VLC violet on cream. Let Kupo pick. What would Kupo pick? Actually, I'm kind of curious. I'm gonna get the set anyway, but I'm kind of curious. What would Kupo pick? Vin, no, trying to buy my Boss T-Jar collection right now. Huh. VLC prop. I don't know. I don't know what Mr. Kupo wants. Mr. Kupo is a mysterious entity. Still yet to show up to pull up to the meetups. Not even locals know Mr. Kupo. Anyway. BRB. Okay, I'm back. Some VLC stuff. So, gotta take some from here and some from the board otherwise here. So, let's do that. Let's see. So, backspace. And pipe. I need some of those guys. Actually, yeah, I can do that. And then arrows. I had to pay $22 of shipping and $25 of duties for a $50 order from Gion. Oh shit. Oh man, that's awful. I am sorry to hear that. I hate it here. Damn. That's terrible. All right, so this is the indigo unicorn actually. The Anna is similar. I would say this purple is more vibrant than this one. This one is kind of like darker and more matte like in color, so you know. Okay, Rich, corn owner. Didn't you have one too at some point? I feel like you had one. Lamp. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you had one. What are you trying to say? Why are you trying to say okay riching me, huh? I know you own some nice shit. I had a Reseda. Oh, the green one, right? That's a Reseda green. I overpaid and then regret hit and I sold it 36 hours later. At least the regret hit quickly. Right? I think if you made an expensive purchase and the regret hits fast, it might not be a bad thing at the end of the day. You might have saved yourself there, right? Especially if it was like a frivolous and expensive purchase. Like I think that tends to be pretty bad, and it's better to find out sooner than later. No regrets. Yeah. Oh, the spacebar is like kind of bindy. For whatever, God, for whatever reason, it's like bindy. It's like getting stuck on one of the stabs, I think. Okay, there. Actually, maybe. Yeah, the stabs feel kind of sticky on this. A little bit, but I don't know, maybe I'm just over pressing it. Oh, weird. Sometimes these wires can feel a little weird. Yeah, it feels whack. What's going on with that spacebar? Give me a sec. For some reason, this spacebar is kind of sticky. This wire feels fine, and it was fine when I was testing it, but maybe this spacebar is kind of weird. I feel sticky. I don't know why. It's binding. Huh. That's kind of weird. I have a feeling that I maybe didn't press. Maybe the switch is floating a little. So I'm gonna try doing that for a sec. Bent wire? Possibly. That's one of my suspicions, but I'm not sure. So I'm gonna I'm gonna just give it a reflow and a test, and then if that isn't the case, then maybe it is the wire, but hard to say right now. The wire looks fine from here, but it's really hard to tell with the thick blade. It's like, oops. Is that all the screws? Did I miss one? How many screws are there on this? 1, 2. How many screws were there on this? Let me see. Did I undo all of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Was that 5? No, there's something. There's another screw somewhere. Let me just double check the diagram of the board. Easier to do that without me actually having to take off all the 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay, I missed one. Missed one around here. Check here. Oh no, it's on the other side. Where is it? Oh, it's here. Okay, so let's just reflow this one first. Make sure the stabs are clipped. That seems fine. It might be just reseating it a little bit. We'll see. I'm waiting for it to heat up. Yeah, that might help a little. Let's see though. I'm gonna take the switch off and just keep it off. Yeah, that feels sticky. That feels pretty sticky. Let me see here. This wire feels okay. It is a little tight, but I'm not sure if it's that tight. Just slow on the return. Oh yeah. Do I have to redo this? This wire is giving me trouble. I knew I shouldn't have skipped stab content, huh? Now I have my regrets. That's weird. Earlier in the testing it was fine. Let me try a different spacebar. Could be the spacebar. Oh no, this one's kind of tight too. It's interesting. It's pretty tight. This one's better, but not that much. Spacebar is pretty tight. Well, that's unfortunate. Yeah, cherry clip-ins. The wires can be a hit or miss. I'm a little estranged by the fact that it's a miss just because the housing seems to be seated fine here. So it is getting pushed by the plate a little bit here, but I'm not sure if that's really affecting it. You make it out to the polls? Yeah, of course. Of course I did. I'm debating if I want to redo this. I'm debating if it's that, or I'm debating if it's the plate. I have a feeling it's the plate, but it's a little tight. It's a little tight here. You guys see, I want to show you guys. You guys see on this stab here, so on the right side, I feel like this right stab is getting pushed very slightly by the plate here, plate cutout. Like I feel like the plate cutout is very rounded here, so it's pushing very slightly there, which just gives it enough of a push to make it feel tighter, but it's hard to say, because in testing it was kind of okay, right? Like when I tested it earlier, but it could have been because it was not as all together now, like all the full stab, I mean like the plate and the switches were not all together all at once. So that might have been okay, might have had some more wiggle room there, but now it's like really refusing to come back up. So the wire feels really tight on this, even though I gave it yeah, no, this definitely feels pretty tight. Yeah, could be a plate issue, could be a stab issue. It's really hard to say. I mean, I do think my wires are gonna have some tolerance problems in general because they're not like first party, so to speak. I like bought my 70 wire separately, so it could be that, but okay, all right. I could go ahead and desolder and replace this. I think that's pretty much the best way. Shave it down. I mean, I don't have a Dremel here, so Dremeling is probably not an option for me. I'm not really okay. Let me take out the plate first. I think that's the easiest way to. X-Acto knife, yeah, I think cutting a little piece of the plate there is a potential way to go about it. Just cutting a little part of the edge and then seeing how it goes, just to relieve it a little bit. Give it a little relief cut there, and then see if that helps. I'm not really sure if it'll help too much, but we'll see. I can be a little bit more of a barbarian when it comes to these things, right? But I feel like it is partly my stab. Well, I don't know. because so these stabs actually are the same stabs that were in the Qi 65. If you guys see my Qi 65 build from last time, it was the exact same stabs. It came from that actually. So yeah. So you know, I'm gonna try doing this. It's a soft. Yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut just this edge here. It should relieve some of the pressure on there. And then, because that part is thin and it has no issues to the plate, like no functionality problems to the plate. I mean, I'm never building this with 625 anyway, so it's fine. So I'm just gonna cut here. Okay. At least you're showing a potential issue with this kit. Yeah, of course. That's exactly why we're doing this. Okay. So that's a clean cut. That's pretty good. Okay, so now let me see. Now without that, that might be better. Still a little, yeah, still a little finicky there. So let's see if I can cut there. That wire is, yeah, nicely wedged in there, so the only way to really work around this is for me to actually desolder it. If I want to replace the whole stab, then yeah. But otherwise, it's still pretty tight. Having super tight tolerance around stab cutouts is just asking for trouble. I do agree with this. Generally, I think even giving it 1 mil of room is a good thing. What do I do? I could work around this in a much more barbaric way, I guess. I can straight cut it out, I guess, a piece, and see how it goes. Okay, I'll do that, because why not? This part has no problems for the functionality of this stab cutout, so cut that, and then yeah, and then cut it at the wire here. Okay, that came off clean. Yeah, okay. So now we have nothing pushing against that. That still has some issues in the return though. I think it could be the wire. It could be the wire. I mean, I'm not sure if this side now has that issue, but I don't think so. There is some. It definitely feels lighter. Like it definitely rotates better. It definitely comes up now. But it could be a mix of, like, that actually returns now. So, but it still has some return issues here, which is kind of interesting. It is a little tight still. So that's it might be, yeah, it might just be my luck with this wire. So I might go ahead and I do have a desoldering gun, fortunately, so this should be fast, but I might have to take it apart, actually. I might have to replace this wire. I think it's this wire. I don't really see any other things that indicate seating or bending or... It's so strange though, because the return on this stab feels the same as before, but it does feel slow still. It does feel still quite slow. Okay, I guess I'll just have to replace the stab, unfortunately. So we will get onto that shortly. Gonna put these screws separately. Put that away. Okay, unfortunate, but let's get onto it. All right. I will go ahead and have to undo this. Apologies for those who are waiting. But it is possible it was just my wire. So and because this is a thick plate, I do have to take everything apart. So, my bad. All right, let me get the desoldering done and Okay, I'm back. Alright. Gonna have to undo this guy, unfortunately. Because I am not sure. The wire seems fine, but I guess it still has some tightness, so gonna go ahead and consider replacing the stab. Oh, still feels a little... Burr machine. We don't get this often, actually, where I get to redo these parts of a build. But shit happens, so just gotta deal with it. Hey Lainey, are you directly uploading this to YouTube? I'm catching a flight in an hour. I wanted to download it to watch offline. It won't be available in an hour, unfortunately. So unfortunately, not now. But you know, it will be available like tomorrow. So probably after you're landed and all that. So I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about this now to download, unfortunately. But yeah, it's not directly streamed to YouTube. So yeah, sorry. Damn, no worries. I will watch when I land in Tokyo. Okay, have a safe flight. Have a safe flight. Oh my god, my thingy, drill thingy is like stuck. Okay, there we go. Is it hot? Hot. Just needed to fill the 10-hour flight? Oh, that's a long flight. Yeah, sorry. Won't be able to get you the VOD for this. Okay, there we go. I hope you voted. Of course I did. Sorry if it's loud. Do you guys want me to turn up the music a little? Sharia law is coming to New York City. Right. How terrible. I'm so terrified. Free buses are scary. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I think the MTA stuff, the transit stuff, will probably take a while, to be honest. Because those changes, like to basically sort of switch over part of the funding and to like make it work in the system like that yeah, it takes time. There's gonna be there's gonna be a good amount of resistance to all that kind of proposition. But, you know, it's a step in the right direction if it works out. I mean, hopefully, yeah. So every like 2-ish rows, I like to unclog this thing. Okay. Is that Hako desolder really good? It is better than doing it by hand with a lot of boards. So I would say yes. I recommend it. It is not cheap. Like the tool itself is like $250, $300. I'm not sure how much it goes for. It kind of does fluctuate on like Amazon, for example. But yeah, it's like a few $100. It's good, but it does require some maintenance. The heating element is not a full length ceramic heating element, so it does need, because it does have some cold spots, basically you do require cleaning it after each use, and after like periodically during use as well, you should be cleaning it. So it does require maintenance, as all good tools eventually do, but it saves a lot of time if you're doing a lot of these desolderings, which I personally do more often than most people. Yes, there are specific and cheaper, you know, potentially, depending on where you're located, desoldering stations that also work very well. I do like the Haka ones for 2 reasons. Number 1 is that it's available. Number 2 is that the parts are all replaceable. So if I have any issues with, let's say, a part that goes behind the filter and in like, you know, this back portion, I can actually unscrew it all and replace components inside, which is very nice. I've done it. It pretty much brought the usability of my desoldering gun back to essentially like new condition, which was great, and it didn't cost me as much as the product itself, which was nice. But yeah, there is good stuff out there that works just the same. For me, it was a convenience thing. It's okay. Yeah. Like, it requires maintenance. That's really what it is. I would say most, like, there are a lot of cases where people say that they don't like it because it gives them trouble eventually, but I haven't had issues with it, aside from the maintenance aspect. But everyone's different with how they use their tools. So this one's kind of hard. Okay, hopefully that's good enough. Okay, let's see. So I think I did most of these are pretty clean. So let's just check here. Wow, pretty clean. Okay, great. Sweet. Look at that. Clean, clean, clean. Okay. Good. Okay, so let's clean this up a little bit here since I already did the damage anyway. Okay, just getting that cut up. And then, interesting, this plate honestly seems, I mean, not the plate, sorry, this switch seemed fine with the stab, so maybe it is a stab thing, but I'm not sure. There's my tweezers just to hold this switch down. Look at that. So something was kind of making it bind a little, just ever so slightly. I'm not sure what, but I mean, the wire's pretty straight. So maybe it is the plate. It's kind of strange, but maybe it is the plate. Maybe it's not. Yeah, sounds good, right? Like I didn't have any issues now without. And then with, so let me take out some of the switches that are in flex positions. Like this one here, and this one, and this one. Okay, so take those out and put the same switch. And I mean, something must have been applying some pressure here. I'm gonna try to hold the switch down. So something must have not been flush or something, right? Simon had issues with the pogo pins on this board. I don't have issues with the pogo pins actually. It's just the stab was binding earlier. I soldered it all up and the stab was binding. So I'm kind of intrigued by that. It's almost like I soldered it, but it was ever so slightly bent or uneven, so it applied stress to my stab. You know, like. It's not binding though, like right now. So that's super strange to me. I mean, I figured it should be fine because when I use these same stabs on a different board, and that board sounded perfectly fine. So I was like, oh, I can use these same stabs on this board and it should be okay, right? So I'm torn if I should switch the stabs, because for me, like, switching the stabs essentially means like I am changing the, I mean, I can. I mean, it's fine. I could just change the wire. I mean, you know, and try it again. But since we went through the effort of actually like taking it apart and all this, so I guess I could change the wire. So. Is it 7U? Yeah. The one time I had a weird binding thing with the spacebar that made me go crazy was with a palm plate. I don't like flexi plates for that reason. Yeah, maybe. I don't know, man. I genuinely have no clue. like I do feel like right now the issue is the fact that it's a 4mm plate, and so it like just means there is much less room for error. Like anything that bends the plate applies stress on the plate. Any kind of little flexing on one end and then not the other will essentially apply stress on, you know, other parts that are undesired. So I guess that's just it. I'm gonna switch the wire. Hopefully this one is straighter, has like more give to it, and we'll just put it back together and it'll work. But I guess if I want to maybe prevent some more of the issue, I could cut a little bit more of the plate, basically just to completely free up that left side of the plate stab cutouts, and I'll pass feedback obviously to just make the cutouts a little bit larger, and basically just to give more space on the cutouts. I mean, they might not, I'm not sure if they'll listen or not, but obviously this is the whole point of it. But the tolerances do seem pretty tight. I mean, it's really just the plate. The cutouts on the plate are tight. Not for the switches, but just for the stabs. Like the only thing that concerns me here is right here. Right here, we have pretty, like the radius on this is pretty curved, right? Like it's not sharp there, and it's also like just in line with the switch. I would personally just get rid of this, or like either leave it open or just make it even closer to here and actually open it up slightly wider, because you know you have this solid portion. We can open it a little bit more, just to give any stabs more breathing room. And also, you know, there's variability between stab companies and as well, so it's like people might be using Gateron stabs, or people might be using, you know, YIKB stabs or whatever it is. So I imagine there's some variability to be accounted for there. So I'll definitely tell them to loosen that up, because I don't think it helps. Oops. Yeah, I don't think that helps, so. Okay, that seems pretty good to me. I'm going to just be preventing more issues, potential issues, and I'm just gonna open up this cutout here. I'm just gonna do it because I don't think it affects this, and like see this. Okay, so one thing that for me, I'm like, if I were the designer, I would have done this differently. It's this line here. So let's take a look here. See where the switch cutout is? Switch cutout ends right here, right? Ends right here. But see where the stab cutout ends? It ends a little above this, right? Like they just translated this up, right? Like it's the switch cutout size and then up translated a little bit to account for the wire, because the wire comes right here and the bend, right? So, you know, I personally would have just done it all the way down to the switch cutout and just made it wider on the top for the wire to you know, rotate. But yeah, I think this cutout should just be all the way down here, I think, instead. Or completely gone is fine, but I think if they don't want it open, then, you know, just to the switch cutout, because that's fine. Their tolerances are fine. Their tools can do it. Their tools can handle all this. And also, I'll suggest them to widen it up a little bit more here. And here where I already cut it, I'll tell them to widen it, or altogether just keep it open altogether here, all the way here, out here. I think that would be the changes that I would suggest, to loosen up on the stab cutouts. And same here, you know, I'll tell them, you know, loosen up on the stab cutouts here and there. I think on the 2Us is not as bad, because there's like smaller stabs. But on the 7U, for example, here, I think it's giving me issues because it's just a longer stab, and longer stab means room for error. So yeah. So I'll probably suggest that to them. Okay. I was out eating. How do you like it so far? Oh, the board itself I like a lot. Right now we were just having some issues with my spacebar stab, so I just desoldered it and I'm going to resolder it. Yeah, that's all. So maybe I'm gonna start with my spacebar switch and check that it works, and then I'll go ahead and do the rest. It's so funny for the amount of crap that people give other Switch systems, that they're difficult, that no one can seem to get cherry stabs right. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely irony in all this, right? At the end of the day, I feel like there's a lot of lessons that could be fed between different Switch systems, right? But I feel like, I'm not sure if it's just a level of engineering or like willingness to do it that like people, or just, in fact, I think it's also like partially it's just not enough cross education around this topic, right? Like learning from the way other Switch systems do stabilizers, or the way other systems do like specific parts of the Switch, you know, to make things work mechanically, you know. I feel like there is more room to learn there, but people maybe are just more stubborn about it and decide against it. But yeah, I can see that. I can see some of the kind of like the irony there. Also, this song slaps. Oh yeah, this song's great. This song's great. This playlist is awesome. All right, that seems fine. I guess it was the plate, but I don't know. I'll just give the feedback and hopefully they'll act on it and they'll be fine. When it comes to these things, just being constructive is the most important thing. That's it. I think that there is no documentation that leads to these errors. Yeah, I mean, there is, like, I feel like a lot of this also is, like, documentation consistency. It's different when, like, you know, there's, like, people who are good at documentation. There's people who kind of just do documentation. Like, they will, I'm not talking that they're, like, half-assing it. It's more so that they might just not have the know-how. So, like, some documentation is out there, but it's not complete. So people just miss details, and when those details are missed, and then people don't get informed that something exists out there to get informed of that knowledge. And yeah, just and then time passes, people start losing knowledge over time. And obviously this is why the kind of stratification of aspects in our community and not having a central place, or not even central, but like just having a place to archive knowledge and document things to perpetuity, right? Like having a geekhack, having a forum, like having a place where you're documenting your findings is super important, even if that's a blog or, you know, a document that's publicly available. But, you know, we could rant about the state of affairs when it comes to community-based documentation, all like for eternity, essentially. But yeah, I think that leads to a lot of these misconstrued feelings and information of like what we know about the keyboards, and like from other systems too. Like generally speaking, people are not like always looking everywhere. This is why when you do south-facing stabs only, who needs O-ring? Yo, south-facing stabs kind of goated that if this is opened up, you can just replace the damn like the wire. Now I'm like checking every 2 minutes that my stab works. Hi Mochin. How are you, dude? Are you done playing your was it airport sim game? Airport controller, airspace controller game? I know that you were like really into it for a little bit, and I actually looked at the stories and I was like, huh, that's pretty cool. Paranoid? Yeah. I mean, you don't want to repeat the same mistake twice. Just trying to be extra careful, you know. Don't wanna be that guy. Just messing up. I mean, messing up is fine. Acknowledging the mistake is fine. I acknowledge it. It might have just been the wire. I don't know, honestly. But I still do think the tolerances on the plate could have been a little bit more lenient. No use having it so stringent. Al semi done? Nice. Would you say it was fun? Those games can be fun. It's like the people who play like the football, like the soccer simulator games, coaching simulator, whatever. Tycoon is always fun. Yeah, that's true. Oh man, Zoo Tycoon and like Sims type games. Good times. Roller Coaster Tycoon was really fun back in the day. One of the good ones. Until the grind gets you? Yeah, true. Yeah, that is true. The grind does get pretty bad after a while. I mean, they do this now with like those gacha games and stuff, right? Like they will either put it under, you know, under microtransactions for you to gain resources, or they'll like force you to grind it out, right? But like it just gets so tedious, man. What's a build queue you looking like? If it's off stream, honestly, it's pretty good. I will be busy in mid-November, but other than that, like, I'm generally pretty fast about builds. So I'm pretty flexible. On stream though, I just need to schedule a time, and that kind of depends. It just depends on the week, pretty much. Some weeks I'm just busier than others. And some weeks I just wanna, you know, not stream as much. If that makes sense. Free up some other time for other things. RZT was the shit? Oh yeah. Roller Coaster Tycoon was awesome. Definitely. A lot of nostalgia with that game. Had to borrow a CD from a friend to have that. Back when you could burn discs. There's a period of time my brother, I have like older brothers. One of my older brothers, like he really liked burning like a lot of like, you know, we did everything, right? Like from music to like movies, DVDs, right? But a lot of music. A lot of music. Good times. Okay. Look at that. No issues now. Yay. Alright. Sorry about the delay. A little half-hour detour here. But we're back. We're so back. Do you have a soft-modded Xbox? I did not have a soft-modded Xbox. My friend did, though. You know, my friends and I used to do this thing because we couldn't all afford all the consoles. So I had a console, like, you know, like I had the GameCube or whatever, and my friend had the Xbox, and like we would like basically go to each other's places to play those games. That was usually the way we did it. I know everyone had different experiences with regards to that. Yeah. There was a time I would do the whole like PSP firmware stuff, homebrew stuff later on. That was like much later, I guess, PSP. But yeah, I got into that stuff for a while. Yeah. But yeah, I was growing up, like for Sony systems, I had just PS2. And then I had like a lot of Nintendo stuff. Like I had Super Nintendo, 64, GameCube. Wii I actually didn't get until much later, so it didn't really count. And then my friends had like Xbox 360, I guess PlayStation 3 and so on later on. Yeah. Good times. Good times. Just going to your friend's place just to spend a whole afternoon playing games. I'm starting to get into emulation on Android handheld, so excited to play the games I did not grow up with. Oh, nice. I don't know, what would you guys recommend for emulation in general? I mean, I personally really like a lot of OG Game Boy Advance games. There's a lot of really good ones. I know, you know, there's obviously like PSP and that kind of stuff, but like DS. But yeah, Game Boy had so many good handheld games. At 360, after 360, I never saw point in consoles. I get that. Yeah, 360, that whole era was the peak, right? For a lot of people, I think that's sort of the perspective on it, rather. Zillennials peaked. Yeah, I think after that definitely was like mostly on like PC. Like I enjoy having like, you know, we have like a PS4? 4? Was it 4? And we have a Switch, which we enjoy. Like, you know, the Switch is nice because it's portable, and taking that with the like, and like, you know, being able to dock it anywhere is pretty convenient. But yeah, cause like if you ask me, like if I would play with other people, you know, if I would rather play a PC game or a console game, like oh, of course, would much rather play couch, you know, gameplay with other people. But yeah, in terms of quality though, I guess playing on like PC is nice. 3DS goated console. 3DS has a lot of good games too. Yeah. 3DS has a lot of good games, and like the, you know, compatibility is nice. I have a PS5 that I use a ton. Yeah. Because you can just hack them and run homebrew. Yeah. True. What screw am I missing here? Okay. All right. Okay. PCB is working fine. Double check my stop this time. Okay. Works good. All right. I'm gonna take this away now. It's cooled off now, so I can take it away. And I'll be right back. Alrighty. Brought you that clock that you wanted to see. Or at least a clock. Alright. Put the rest up. I was a pro Kid Icarus player. Holy moly. Wait, for real? Kid Icarus is kind of hard to play. That's the one that you have to play with the stylus, right? That was a fun game, but I remember kind of a pain gameplay wise. Holy shit! Who is that? Suzzboards? Dude, you're alive? How are you doing? That's crazy. How you doing, man? I'm indeed alive. Yeah. Yo, good to see you. Wow. I've seen some names I hadn't seen in a while today. Like in general. Damn, dude, good to see you. Hope you're doing all right. Oh, want the right key. I miss Strongosaurus. I miss him too. Yeah. What have you been up to these days? How's life? What's new? You gotta catch us up. Are you buff enough to lift the entire country on your shoulders or something? Remember there was a time you were like just really into the gains. And then I don't know. got most stuff here. Alright. That was that. And now let's put another keycap on. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna put this one on. Gotta put this new ominous I recently got. Alright. There it is, finally. It took me a minute here to get this all back up. Job takes up most of my time now, but I like to watch keyboard content when I got time. Oh shit, really? Oh man, I'm surprised. Because, you know, a lot of people moved on from keyboards, obviously. I mean, that's normal. That's a normal thing. People move on from their hobbies and, you know, move on to greener pastures, I guess. Unlike myself, I guess. I haven't really moved on from it. And so it's good to see old names and old faces that, you know, stuck around. It's good to see you. Ooh. Okay, there you go, camera. I spent $9.999 earlier on Kiwi. Oh shit, you did? Oh, I'm sorry. I did not see that. It must have been when I was distracted. Oh, you're right. Okay. I can get Kiwi. Where's Kiwi? Oh, he's over there sleeping. He might not enjoy this, but I'll bring him anyway. Okay, hello. I'm back. With Mr. Kiwis. Okay, Kiwi. Hi. Yeah. He's so sleepy right now. He's very sleepy. Okay. Have a snack. Ooh. He dropped it. Good boy. Okay. Maybe he'll do it. High five? Kiwi, high five me. Oh, he's not in the mood right now. He was like napping. High five? Wanna high five? High five? High five, Kiwi. High five? Not interested? Kiwi. Embarrassing streamer man on stream? It's okay. To be fair, I did take him from his napping spot, so I can't imagine anyone would be happy. Kiwi? No. Someone's gonna need a re-education session. Excuse me. I'm unlike other streamers. Okay. I don't. As you can see, this is just you know, it's just rubber. Okay. Just silicone. Okay. Oh. He's a good boy. Yeah. Why'd your hand move off cam? Look at him. Kiwi. He wants to go. I'm just kidding. That's just it's my shutter remote for the camera. Okay, Kiwi left. Oh my, clipped and shipped. Live stream fails, bro. It's horrible. All right, let's so much for let's get typing on this, shall we? Sorry for the delay. Ooh, that's a very big window. Okay, so let's try this out. Actually, yeah, that's probably better. Okay. Okay. Okay, so here we got finally our Sensy Smoke 65 built with MX Purples on a PEI 4mm plate. This is a board currently on group buy through ClickLock.io and a bunch of other vendors. You can find it. You can find all the info over there. But this is the purple version with the wing keyless blockers, and this only came with the PEI 4mm plate, and so we had a few different options for switches, but decided to build with MX Purples. Matches the board nicely, and also just to give it, you know, a tactile sound. I mean, switch typing test out there, so you can check it out. All right, let's start the music and give this a shot. All right, MX Clears or MX Purples. Ready to go. All right, here we go. All right, and then Kiwi then comes here during the typing test. He has done that a few times during recording. All right, so there it is. Can go through the mods. So overall has a pretty bright sound signature to this PEI 4mm plate. I would say it kind of still sounds a lot like, I mean, this sound reminds me a lot of typing on tactiles on like a PC plate, but obviously stiffer than that. So polycarb PEI kind of similar in that regard. So I would say, like, if you already like certain switches on like polypropylene, like PP or polycarb similar plates like that, like plastic plates, you know, PEI is gonna be kind of similar to that. Maybe a little bit brighter on the sound, but that's sort of the kind of feeling I get to it. In terms of typing feel, I did replace the 90A little tabs that were for the top mount positions with the 70A ones, which are slightly softer. And so I can definitely feel a decent amount of give to the typing itself. But because it is a 4mm plate, like, you won't really see much translation of this assembly, like kind of like downwards. So but like when I am bottoming out in particular, I am definitely feeling a bit of a cushion. So it's pretty soft in terms of like bottoming out on the board. So it's pretty comfortable typing experience wise. In terms of like, you know, like everything else, like it still has top mount like personality. So it does have mounting positions that kind of avoid the spacebar area. So you still get like a softer spacebar typing, both sound and feel wise. So kind of like a little bouncy, like more like trampoline like, but you know, because we are using a 4mm plate, definitely still rigid enough for you to not quite feel like it's really just going up and down and going crazy. Look at this guy not saying Ultim, it's PEI. I mean, that's what it is. Ultim is the brand name. So it's different, you know? You can generic PEI, you can call it just PEI. If it's Ultim branded, then you can call it Ultim. That's just kind of how it goes. What's your opinion on this versus the Qi 65? First of all, I think between those two boards, so the Qi 65 uses a gasket mount system, so kind of like in some regards comparable in the sense that this board, while it's still top mount, it does have kind of like flexibility on how you use those little like pieces that go to the top mount positions, right? Like you can be a little bit softer, a little bit like stiffer. But in general, this board gives you a lot more of that top mount like typing experience, so expect more on the rigid side compared to the Qi 65. And obviously the second thing that I would obviously mention is the aesthetics are completely different on this board. So my opinion, at least, if you want like the when keyless blockers, the Qi 65 does not offer that. If you want this more kind of curved aesthetic, the Qi 65 is obviously different from that. It's a more boxy aesthetic. So I think the Qi 65 kind of gives a much more like classic look on the desk type of look, like type of aesthetic, whereas this board, if you here switch it to the top down view, also like you see it's off centered on the USB here, and personally it actually doesn't bother me that much because it's sort of like closer to the center of this alpha section, so it actually it doesn't bother me that much that it's off centered from the like the lengthwise middle of the board. So but yeah, aesthetically speaking, I do think this one is really interesting as well. Like the weight sort of juts out a little bit, and then you know has like more curves and stuff. Typing feel wise though, I think I personally tend to lean towards the more classic like top mount like feel, so I enjoyed this one quite a lot. Excuse me. The Qi 65 definitely reminded me a little bit more of that like Keycall 265 type of feeling with the pour-on gaskets. I mean, it's essentially the same system. They both have multiple case pieces. They also use that like internal screw going from the top screwless assembly method, and then it was also using pour-on gasket sandwich. So if you have tried any of the Keycall boards or similar boards like that, like it's the Qi 65 is much more aligned to that. So yeah, if you generally prefer a softer typing experience, it's the Qi 65 is probably the way to go. But yeah, they're comparable in price too. Like this one's like 400, the other one's like 350 to something else. So comparable-ish in prices. But I like both of them. I mean, they're really both very solid contenders. If you go and look at Alex's video of this board, like or his stream, I think I'm not sure if he has the video out yet, but he did a build stream of this one too, and he built with I think GAT yellows, and it sounded really good, and he really liked it too. So you know, I think it's this board is pretty nice. I mean, barring the fact that I had that issue with the stabs, I am not 100% sure if it was my issue or if it was the plate issue. I will provide feedback on that specifically to the designer. So, you know, barring that, the board itself is designed in a way where I think the assembly was really intuitive. It was pretty easy. Like, you just think top screws, step one, mid piece screws step 2, and then top mount screw step 3 essentially, right? And so, or I guess in inverse, you just flip that around, right, to put it all together. But like, board aesthetic wise, I think it looks really nice. Personally, I really dig this. Like I think it just kind of it's simple, but it still does look different. The colors are nice and vibrant. It's not too like over the edge, so to speak. Like it doesn't like it's a loud design, but at the same time it's kind of like it still looks very nice and classy on the desk. So I'm not like it's not like a matrix board, so to speak. Yeah, off center USB, and it's like slightly to the left. It's actually centered more so towards like the middle of the alphas. It's like right here. So it's like a 65, but it's like here. Yeah, it's just kind of different, but it doesn't like. I thought it would bother me a lot more. TBH, this look, I thought it would bother me a lot, but it doesn't. But I think the reason it also works is because they are like putting it into the design. Like they purposefully make this part like they open up this part so the USB is gonna go there, like right here. Like they adjust parts of the design. Like you see here, this like chin area kind of juts out a little bit more, so it's all like lined up to that new center axis of the board. So I think they're being pretty smart about how they designed this. So I like it. It's consistent. Like the way they designed it is pretty consistent. And they're going with the blockers and all that, so it's kind of neat. You don't see the Bauer style 65 blockers that often out there. And then they have a lot of color options and materials, which is cool. And DDS, pretty good quality. So yeah, I missed a sound test. I was in the shower with. Nice. I'm sorry. Shouldn't have laughed. Anyway, I just didn't expect to read that. That's all. Missed a sound test? Yeah. I can do. I can type on this again though. One more time, and then, yeah. All right. Here, MX Purples on PEI. Oh, we're on ads. Wait, but Lamb, you're sub. You can see it still. You don't get hit with ads, right? Purple sound thinner than I expect on the PI? Expect on the PAI? Yeah, they kind of do, right? It seems to be brighter and a little bit thinner than I would have expected to. Yeah. I'm sub and turbo, double wasting. Oh, hell yeah. Thank you very much for your support. Alright, I can start typing, and I think people will be back from ads, and so I'll still be typing, so. Yeah, pretty nice though. I personally like the sound on this. The sound on this is it's a nice sound. It doesn't have like weird resonances or like weird echoing and then like weird things like that. So it doesn't have like any like sound artifacts. So it's a nice sounding board. I think I did like what I heard from Alex's stream, but PEI does work with these MX clears or purples pretty well too. Kind of on the brighter side if you like that. This is more in tune with like the custom, like Korean custom / like clacky sound type of enthusiast. So it actually kind of sounds a lot like like rounds or clear sound on PC, on like regular PC plates, but just more rigid feeling. Yeah. How about Nicky-san PEI? I don't think I haven't tried PEI that much, to be honest. Like I don't think I've tried PEI. Yeah, I haven't tried PEI too much, unfortunately. Mama Hoo Hoo. It's like a fairly new material, so it's like not something I'm super like used to yet. Like I tried, let's see, on the Cloud9 I tried MX Browns, and on the Neo 80 CU I tried PEI with MX Oranges, so you can look at that one if you want to see how that sounds. But yeah, my limited experience with PEI, you know, kind of drives me to say that it's similar to like PC, but you know, modified slightly differently, like maybe sometimes brighter. Yeah, but I'm not like 100% sure though. I haven't really done a side to side comparison. I think that would be probably a good idea to do at some point. Alright, so yeah, if you guys have any thoughts, let me know, but otherwise, I'll show off the board over here. You guys can take a look at it, and we can conclude soonish. So there it is with GMK Violet on Cream, and I can show you what this looks like on this side here. So there it is, the Sensy Smoke 65. That's the bottom of the board. The back sort of looks like that. Maybe I can flip it to this angle. So I know it has a bunch of fingerprints, but it says smoke on the top right corner in the back, and then off-center USB port. Stainless steel bottom with PVD SS badge or bottom accent, and then there's a side profile. The side profile is interesting. I really like the way they did this. I think this is kind of cool looking. It's a pretty cool looking side profile, like with the wavy side profile. I think it's very nice. And then, you know, here from the top, GMK VOC. It's a nice set. It goes really well with this board, actually. And then, yeah, I guess if you wanted to see that the switches match the board, that's kind of how the purples look on the board. But yeah. Okay. I think that's pretty much all I have for this board. If you guys have anything else, you know, let me know. Any questions or anything like that. But let's see. A few people did raid earlier, which I'm very thankful for. So thank you to Manic Geek earlier and Apiary for raiding. And let's see if there's anybody to raid. Take a look. Oh, is that Patty? She's doing a pottery stream. Oh shit. We should show some support over there. Oh, cool. Yeah. Yeah, let's raid Patty. Okay guys, we are about to raid Shinchin Wong, Patricia. She's doing a rare pottery stream. So this is an exciting opportunity to check out her doing other hobbies too. She also does keyboard builds if you don't know her. But yeah, just wanted to thank you guys for stopping by. I will be doing another build tomorrow night around the same time. So tomorrow night is gonna be the Beetle 60 by Hallie and Bub. Bub is the designer of Jim K panels, if I recall correctly, and Hallie is a keyboard designer. The board is a 60% and it's currently live on Novel Keys, but I'll be building a unit for that. So I'll probably see you guys tomorrow evening. But let's go raid Patricia. But yes, I'll see you guys in the VODs, in the comments, other places. But as always, thank you for your support and always very grateful. And if you want to, join in the Discord and just banter, always feel free. Join the Discord and my other socials as always. But for those old faces and old names that I hadn't seen in a while, I'm very happy to see you all. So thanks for stopping by. Okay guys, take care. Have fun at Patty's stream. Bye.